Everybody, and thank you for being here today. Sorry for the little delay, but we had a small technical issue, but now we are live. So today we are having this first webinar. It's the first, hopefully, a long series of webinar of the topic group on AI, data, robotics, and defense, the new topic group that we set up almost 1 year ago with Ingadra. And we wanted to start with this topic today because we think that it's a very important topic today for a couple of reasons. First of all, because we think that Europe is living a very critical moment today because Europe's sovereignty, which is one of the Europe technological sovereignty, actually is one of the mission of ADRA, but we think that Europe's sovereignty is increasingly challenged today. And a significant part of these challenges is coming from the technological autonomy. And this is really the mission of ADRA. And as ADRA, we believe it's essential to accelerate both the development and the adoption of AI, data and robotics technologies, I think, of course, in Europe. And we decided to start this webinar series focusing on hybrid war because we think that today hybrid war represents probably one of the most pressing and complex threats that currently, Europe is facing today. And we are facing lots of hybrid attacks from, cyber operations, disinformation campaign, drone incursion, infrastructure sabotage, and so on. And these, attacks that we're really suffering, their goal is really to create a sort of instability, to undermine the citizen trust in public institutions. And ultimately, the ultimate goal is really the one to kind of weaken our democratic system. And so we really think that, this is one of the most important topics today. And the second reason why we decided to choose this hybrid warfare topic is because while having the first meetings of the topic groups, we understood, and also the workshop that we held in Stavanger last October, we understood that there is a very different perception and awareness of this topic in the different countries of Europe. So we have the Nordic countries that are very much focused, they have very good understanding of what is hybrid war today. And then there is the south of Europe that it's less aware of the impact of this phenomenon today in Europe, that we're really currently, under attack today, with this hybrid war. And so we decided to start with this topic to create awareness across all the member states and all our members, ADRA's members, and really to create sort of common ground. So, given setting the landscape of this webinar, first of all, I would like to start thanking our speakers that are with us today, and I will shortly introduce them. So first of all, we have Dr. Panagiotis Kikiras. He's the deputy, welcome with us. Panagiotis is the deputy head of unit for excellence in AI and robotics at the European Commission Hive Office, so DG CNECT. And Dr. Kikiras has over 20 years of experience in security and defense, and he was previously working for the European Defense Agency. So thank you. He will give us then later an overview on hybrid war and what the Commission, so the institution, can do to accelerate the uptake in AI, data, and robotics and defense. Then we have with us Izabela Albrycht. Thank you, Izabela, for being with us. She's the director of Cybersecurity Center for Kraków, Diana of Kraków University, and also the director of the Cybersecurity Center. So both the Diana Accelerator at Fort Kraków and the Cybersecurity Center.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hi, Izabela. She has a long-standing professional relationship with insider and tech community. She's a policy advisor with many years of experience in different expert groups, and she worked with lots of national and international organizations, including the Council for Digitalization with the Ministry of Digital Affairs, Security and Defense Council, and then NATO, Digital Europe, Global Future Council on Cybersecurity and World Economic Forum, and many others. So thank you again, Izabela, for being with us. And then we have Olga Shapoval. Welcome, Olga, with us. Olga, she is the executive director of Kharkiv IT cluster, lead of EN Ukraine local contact points, and implementation coordinator of Eastern Ukraine EDI. Olga, Mrs. Shapoval, she has lots of experience with hybrid warfare. She's living and working in Ukraine. I mean, and she lived, of course, through the 4 years, almost 4 years of conflict. And she will bring her crucial fields perspective on dual-use technology development and deployment. So thank you, Olga, for being with us. Okay, I think we can start. Thank you. We can start. So I would like to start the discussion with Panagiotis, and I would like to ask him if he can really give us an overview to what is hybrid warfare today, especially what is hybrid warfare today in Europe, and what is the current impact that it has, in the different member states in Europe. And then since technology is evolving so fast, and also the threats coming from technology are really evolving, if you can bring us your view on how these threats are evolving, how the capabilities are evolving, and what is also the European Commission doing to promote the development and the uptake of ADR technologies for dual use. So please, Panagiotis, if you want to start.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will be sharing some content. Just tell me when you will be able to see it.
We can see them. They're not in present. Okay, now they're in presentation mode.
Okay. So thank you very much for the invitation. I will try in the next 10-15 minutes to answer to all these questions, which were to the point and I think of interest for everybody, including us, because as you know, we are trying always to optimize our offering. So understanding what is hybrid warfare. We all know that there are a number of definitions. You can hear me, or not?
Now, yes, again.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, something happened on the network here. That's why. So
it's a hybrid war attack.
No, I think it's a matter of infrastructure, but yes, it might be. I hope not. So I'm using the definition that has been developed jointly between JRC and the European Defence Agency and defines hybrid threats as actions conducted by state or non-state actors.
We lost you again.
And covered military means. And then those actions can be coordinated, synchronized, target different vulnerabilities, but really aiming at creating damage to democratic states and their institutions. So the scope of hybrid threats, no matter how they are going to be identified, the aim is to undermine or harm the democratically established governments, countries, or alliances in order to achieve on the scope of the aggressor. And it's based on two basic pillars: blurring the lines, so not making clear what is whether this is a conventional or an asymmetrical military action, or it's something else, in order not to be, for instance, invoke the Article 5 for NATO. And it's always quite complex and includes operation in different domains, as I will explain later on. Why it is difficult to fight against hybrid threats? There are a number of reasons, and you can see some of them on this slide. So the difficulty of attribution. Whenever someone is conducting hybrid warfare, it's always using intermediate players. So it's not a direct attack from aggressor A to a nation. It's always using proxies, sometimes proxies that they are not aware at all that they are used for an attack. It attacks at the same time different types, different domains, and with different intensity. So to effectively fight against hybrid threats, you need to have a 360 view of the environment, including civil and military domains. in an event of a hybrid attack, the big challenge is to maintain the public trust, because this is what a hybrid attack is doing, trying to create to the public, to hit the trust of the public to the democratic governments, and to create different waves of anxiety to the population. And on the other hand, while it's quite cheap for an aggressor to launch a hybrid attack, especially in the cyber domain, for us, it's quite expensive to have the appropriate capabilities in place in order to defend our systems. So how it works? It's really working by exploiting vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities in the critical infrastructure. We know that many of our infrastructures were not created for the interconnected world that we are living today. So they are quite vulnerable to technical cyber attacks. Then we have a wide usage of different information systems with different levels of protection and security. And this asymmetry creates gaps in our defense that a cunning aggressor can use against us. And finally, the public opinion. The proliferation of the social media create a big attack surface and helped aggressors to have a very effective targeted attacks to wide parts of the population, or to that part of the population which is critical for a function within a country. See, for instance, the situation with Brexit. So on top of that, we have the impact of AI systems. We are moving towards a digital battlefield and the digitalization of the civil community and all the functions. So this is an environment where hybrid attacks can really flourish. So in this context, the hybrid warfare, the AI technology will drive an evolution. Because by having dominance in information and understanding, you can be decisive by increasing the speed, the precision, the efficiency and of this kind of attacks. On the other hand, this is also something that we can use in order to defend better of ourselves. There is a lot of work on the hybrid COE. On this, and I call, if you are interested to learn more on cyber warfare, to have a look on the work of the hybrid COE. Then AI will also affect massively cyber defense. I think we see it more and more, and it goes hand with the hybrid warfare. And then we have what we used to call information warfare. And now you can find a number of discussions whether we should not stay at the level of information, but go to what it is called cognitive warfare, because it's going beyond the digital elements of the battlefield and our infrastructure, but goes towards the humans as a target and the understanding of the reality of the population. And AI, with the capabilities that it has for scaling fast, for having automations that are going beyond human levels of understanding and cognition, can be an accelerator of hybrid warfare. So what do we do for hybrid? Hybrid is a domain that many commission services are working. JRC, DG Home, DG Defis, EDA, NATO, EAS are all working together to maintain credible and comprehensive deterrence. On AI Office, we are following the technological evolution, and we are trying to create knowledge on issues like misinformation techniques and tools, studies on how these are applied to to different domains, potential models, and taxonomies for hybrid threats and so on. And we are participating in activities to increase awareness like the one that we have today. This is an example of good work that has been co-authored by the JRC and the Hybrid Center of Excellence, which is, to my knowledge, one of the most comprehensive works on how you can connect different types of actors with the tool that they are using, the domains of critical infrastructure that can be affected by those tools, the type of different activities that we acknowledge as part of activities within a hybrid warfare action, and to the target. So this gives a good mapping from targets to actors through the tools and the domains and vice versa, and help us to identify synergies, gaps, capabilities needed, and so on. So this is published. I would propose to those that interest to be more involved in this domain to have a look on that. On the question, what is needed? I have tried to segment it in different domains. So artificial intelligence, data fusion, analytics, robotics, and the human factor. So from artificial intelligence, I'm not going to go through all this, but AI for anomaly detection to early understand hybrid activities, hybrid campaigns, for instance, disinformation campaigns, attacks on the financial transactions, and so on. Tools for attribution, AIs to trace and to identify the origin, if possible, of deep fake content, for instance. Predictive analytics in the sense of forecasting hybrid threats by having a model like the one that you've seen before. Autonomous response and counter disinformation. Tools that will train our people and our systems to detect and debunk deep fakes, bot networks, manipulated media in real time, and so on. On the analytics, multi-domain awareness, and here is not only the military domain, but also security systems coming from the civil domain, critical infrastructure owners systems or financial systems, health systems, behavioral analytics to identify what is a normal adversary behavior or what is hurting us when an adversary activity is happening. And of course, secure data sharing so that we have an exchange between civil mil operators. And on human machine teaming, augmented decision making, so assistance to help analysts, military leaders process this information and to identify the right ways to move forward. And of course, all of them under the ethical AI governance, which is the basis of our AI development in all domains. In robotics and autonomous systems, here are more things that are related with drone, autonomous maritime vehicles, robotic ISR capabilities, and swarm defense, especially in the domain of the protection of critical infrastructure. So we need to develop further our capabilities there. On Sunday, again, the Munich airport was closed for almost 1 hour due to sightings of unmanned systems. And then again, in the domain of critical infrastructure protection, self-learning systems, self-healing systems to identify early attacks and to respond. Digital twins for training, but also for finding solution to an evolving problem. And what we need to do, and recently there was a nice report from Google that is urging everybody to start be ready for the post-quantum cryptography era, which is coming faster according to their understanding than expected. So all these are coming into the framework of optimizing what it's called in the defense domain, the 5Ds of hybrid warfare: detect, decide, deploy, defend, and deter. So all these technologies need to support capabilities that can optimize this cycle against hybrid attacks. So to strengthen EU capabilities against hybrid threats, there are a number of things that we can do. We need to have understanding and to acknowledge the risk and to understand the importance of civilian military interoperability and connectivity already from now, not waiting for an incident to happen. We need to adopt a whole of society approach, and that is critical for any type of activities related to resilience. But it's even more important here against hybrid threats, taking into account the interdependencies and the interconnections in our societies. We need to conduct systematic vulnerability assessment, cross-sectorial, to identify gaps and even areas where hostile actors might be already waiting in a dormant state. Communications, strategic communications are need to be developed already now in the preparation phase to educate the public and define the role of the military and the civic collaboration. The development of a common European picture of the hybrid warfare threat is something that has been discussed for many years, and there are some activities here and there trying to create that. To maintain a credible and comprehensive deterrence, and this is happening by different tools that the EAS are having, like the cyber diplomacy toolboxes and so on. And critical to be successful is the collaboration and information sharing. If we don't have that, we will be too late to respond to the threat. So I am moving now on how dual use are going to help us. We need to understand that dual use technologies are tomorrow's capabilities. So we need to make sure that the excellence that we have now in AI, quantum, and space in the civilian domain can really be translated to operational readiness. And this can happen only by starting thinking dual use as a part of a continuum from technology to capabilities and vice versa. The complexity of the modern defense systems, it's that high that we cannot now continue working on these 30+ year planning horizons. So we need to use and to leverage on the civilian speed and to build on from typical drones, using what is here ready in order to create high-level military drones. So this can happen only if we have, by design, a dual-use pipeline. If we continue considering dual use as an additional element, this will only lead to some demonstrators that are quite good, but it will never come to the position to scale up into real systems. So we need to facilitate this pipeline from the research to synergies and to scale, and to have in our thinking that technology only becomes capability when we plan for transition and scale. This is something that I believe, although we are in the planning phase, we will see more and more happening in the 2028 to 2034 MFF, where the priorities will be identified, including dual use, and then by having acceleration pipelines, we will be in a position to use them inside the planning horizon for both civil and military. So I will stop sharing at this point. I guess we will have more to discuss later on. So Emanuela, back to you.
Thank you very much, Panagiotis. Very, very interesting. Most of all, this last part on FP10, and of course on the dual use by design approach, which I think it's very interesting for our audience. So thank you. I will move now to Izabela. So when we first discussed with Izabela, I was quite impressed by her views on how conflicts are moving in Europe. She told me that conflicts are moving more and more into sort of this gray zone or a hybrid warfare gray zone. And so I would like her to tell us more about her view on this topic. And then I would like her, since she is working for the Accelerator, NATO Accelerator, Diana, if she can tell us more on how startup can engage in this AI data and robotics and defense topic, and most of all, if she can really tell us, which frameworks are needed, who are the right stakeholders to talk to, which one are the tools, and then since our audience is also interested in which one are the topics, if she can tell us a little bit more about the unsolved challenges today. So, based on your experience, what we should take into consideration if we want to start working on dual use today from a research or a startup point of view. So please, Izabela, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Manuela. I will do my best. Just to check on the mic and the speakers. Do you hear me well?
Very well.
Super. Thank you very much. I will not provide any slides, so just a few thoughts. Yes, indeed, when we met last time, I said that we are living in a very turbulent time, and in my humble opinion, it will be even more turbulent for the next couple of years. I guess that many experts agrees that we entered at least a decade of chaos and a decade of hybrid war, which is targeting our societies and our countries, our critical infrastructure. I guess that Panagiotis explained that perfectly. Thank you very much for this insightful and very comprehensive presentation. And so that's why I think I will not be very much concentrated on that particular question. To me, I just want to highlight that we also feel as a community of innovators and people engaged within different R&D and I programs that we also need to face some new challenges and answering to that challenges with our research and our innovative work. So we definitely will need to face different challenges. Maybe we cannot even name them yet. I think that we can expect that it will be the mix of different threats used by our adversaries against us. So it was mentioned cyberattacks, sabotage, arsons, disruption of critical infrastructures, such as, for instance, fiber optic cables or digital infrastructure, which is a backbone, as was said, for our economy and society. And basically, we will find ourselves very often in a very disruptive, I would say, environment. And maybe to illustrate that a little bit better for those who not maybe feel in their locations and geography, as we said, there are different understanding of what may come with that is COVID, for instance. So basically that was a real disruption for our economies, for security of our countries. And I think that new gray zone threats, hybrid war, can actually lead to very, let's say, radical even situations and reactions which we'll need to adapt. And basically, with disruption, always comes innovation. So basically, when COVID started, we turned to innovative solutions, technologies to, let's say, sort out this difficult time. And I guess that now we are at the same stage, but we need to face challenges for our security and defense. So basically, we need to innovate to challenge different hybrid and gray zone threats. And we can see that this, let's say, trend is growing very fast. And with the need of innovation also comes new frameworks, new tools, and engagement of necessary stakeholders. So basically, first of all, we need to engage innovators. So what I mean by that is, of course, academia, because from academic circles, from academic labs, there are many deep tech solutions which can be used to defend ourselves. And we can see that academia is more and more engaged in that mission, let's say, oriented R&D efforts. For instance, we can see that Horizon Europe program is opening for dual use projects, which is like absolutely excellent move to make. But also other programs like STEP, for instance, and so on. And the other group of innovators are the small and very innovative companies, so basically startups, as well as SMEs. And many of them, of course, are spin-offs and spin-outs from academia, but not all of them, of course. And so basically that's a group of innovators, which is very much needed and very valuable, and many organizations are trying to support startups with deep tech and dual use solutions in different frameworks, such as Diana, which you already mentioned, Emanuela. So Diana is NATO NATO Innovation Accelerator for the North Atlantic. And it works as a network of several accelerators spread in NATO territory. 16 of them are now operational, and they are supporting dual-use startups in the way that they are providing them with very sophisticated, I would say, advanced curriculum, which is supporting the business, tech, and also operation acceleration. So that's the first framework, which was established by NATO in 2022. The second framework, which I will just briefly mention, because we probably would need to have like separate workshops to explain how this ecosystem, at least Diana, works and what it can offer. But just to short up, the second framework, which is very important, and I'm also engaged in that effort, is EUDIS, so European Union Defence Innovation Scheme, with a new project called Business Accelerator. And it is now supporting 20 European startups with dual use and defense technologies in a bit similar manner like Diana. So basically it is trying to build a matchmaking platform for startups with end users, with military stakeholders, and support also the, let's say, market-driven strategies for dual-use technologies. And then I can also mention, especially for those who are interested in get this type of support from public institutions. I can mention HEDI, so Hub for EU Defense Innovation by European Defense Agency. There is also European Innovation Council with many programs which is supporting acceleration, and those programs are also now open for dual use solutions. Basically, we can also see that many member states, NATO member states, EU member states are trying to build the national innovation ecosystems which are supporting dual use solutions and supporting all actors which are needed to build new defense and resilience oriented technologies. I'm here now in Munich, which is actually called the top hub in Europe for defense and dual-use technologies, and I'm quoting just fresh released report by a NATO Innovation Fund and Deal Room. I just got it like 10 minutes ago, so it's very fresh, and it says that Munich is this top location, not only because the city is trying to support the environment for startups, but also is attracting venture capital and is financing an important investments in infrastructure that is needed to create innovative solutions. So we can see that this, let's say, initiatives which I mentioned are not only on the, let's say, pan-European level, on NATO wide level, but they will be also, let's say, copy-paste by EU member states. I can see this is happening also, for instance, in my country, in Poland. And many other countries are trying to build tools, institutions, and all necessary instruments that is supporting that trend. And this trend is very strong. So I will quote one more digit from the report, but because we can see 55% of growth in VC funding year over year in defense and security and resilience. So basically, that's a huge change because in the previous years, that was not that obvious that the defense sector and dual-use sector is an attractive one for private capital. It is now changing, so we can see that the market is also very much interested in the solutions which can be provided by the innovators. I mentioned within these frameworks, which I already tried to describe at least briefly. So, well, I think that it is all on my side, or you also wanted to know.
I just wanted to ask you one thing.
Yeah?
So thank you very much for this overview. I mean, for the startup or research center that want to engage in these topics. I just wanted to ask you, I mean, if we think about which one are the main challenges that the startup is facing today. We were discussing it. You mentioned data availability, data interoperability. Can you just elaborate briefly on this topic?
Sure. So as I said, the frameworks which are also trying to provide funding for startups is already here. I'm not meaning that it is like fixed, I would say, and it is in its optimal shape, but it is here basically. So sometimes money is not that, let's say, important, or at least there is no scarcity of money and funds for dual use and deep tech startups. What is missing is actually availability of data. So to innovate for dual-use technologies for defense and resilience, especially to provide the solutions for multi-domain operational battlefield, which was also mentioned by the previous speaker. We need to have data also tested or provided from the battlefield. And it is very much needed if solutions, and there are plenty of them, are based on AI. So to build adequate and successful, let's say, algorithms, we need data. And so I cannot see, at least now, a part of, let's say, private initiatives such as Data Room by Palantir, provided to Brave One, which is the Ukrainian accelerator. Any other initiative which is worth mentioned that is like trying to face that challenge, how to provide battlefield tested data or real data to innovators, to let them train their algorithms needed to build innovative solutions for defense and security. There are probably a couple of options which we can consider here, but it is like very important gap which needs to be addressed not only by accelerators like my accelerator, for instance, or universities, but we need actually systemic support. We need the political will. We need some decisions to be made, and probably also funding frameworks and also security frameworks, because I know that this data is very sensitive. So my aim is not to like freely share them, but share them in the way which will like protect the sensitivity of this data, but at the same time will give innovators very needed capital, because data is capital, to innovate. So we can think about anonymization of those data. We can build synthetic data sets, but we need to start with some idea and then provide tools to make sure that this data will be available for our European innovators. Yeah, because this is like very important challenge and competitive gap.
Thank you very much, Izabela. Thank you for this very good overview on how to engage with the different initiative and the different framework, and also for this last part on the how we need and they're not available data, I mean, in a protected way. So I think that probably in this last topic, Olga will also be able to give us, I mean, her views. So thank you. So I will now move to Olga.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming directly from Munich. Olga, so I mean, you are coming from an IT cluster. You're in Ukraine, so you're working and living in a country that is under conflict for 4 years actually. I mean, if we think about 2014, for more than 4 years, but I mean for the last 4 years at least, in a very strong way, deep way. So what I would like to ask you, I mean, given the discussion that we had today already, if first of all, if you can tell us what does it mean hybrid war for you? I mean, that you're really, living it on a daily basis. And then, since you are, you have this direct contact with really with the field. If you can tell us which one are the user needs today. I mean, the direct and concrete, pragmatic user needs in AI, data, and robotics that could be an input for our startup and research center. To focus on for developing a new technology for dual use. And the last part that I would like to ask you is, how are you really cooperating today with European Startup and Research Center? Can you tell us a little bit more about this topic as well? So thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for inviting me today. So my name is Olga Shapoval. I'm Executive Director of Kharkiv IT Cluster. Kharkiv IT Cluster is a community which acting more as a meta cluster because we are united not only members for technology IT companies from Kharkiv, but also many companies with Ukrainian roots but acting globally. We also do have and launched 2 years ago clusters of dual use technologies, and we do have in our cluster producers of dual use technologies, academia, military forces. So we launched several research and development initiatives in this triangle. So and also I am in Kharkiv now, so it's like 25 kilometers to the enemy, yes, and if we speak about not only hybrid but physical attacks, we also have this. Unfortunately, we do have this experience, but also we now do, thanks to this situation, we really. Like it was a push to invent many things which before we even didn't think about in real life. So if I speak about Ukraine, really we today face this hybrid warfare in very comprehensive form. So kinetic warfare is combined with cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, drone warfare, systematic attacks on critical infrastructure, energy, logistic, telecommunications. So, and for now, we didn't have an election process, but definitely it would be and it will be affected by hybrid attacks. We do understand that. That is why sometimes the question of referendums or elections without ceasefire and without powerful control from international community, it's very sensitive question to be discussed and to be part of negotiations. So we as a cluster, we also in working in the strong connection with our ministries, with our local authorities, with technology companies. And what do we see? That the key characteristic of the current phase is a very, very fast technological adoption cycle. So we see many new threats appear very quickly. And especially also with the help of AI solutions. So not only Europe, not only Ukraine develops something. With the help of AI, we also have other countries and Russia, like this Russia camp countries who developed a lot of solutions. And this forces defense sectors, engineers, technology companies to move from experimentation to deployment much faster than in traditional innovation cycle. And we, when we speak about this, we speak not only in technology about like pure technology, we also speak about management technologies because governments, municipalities, businesses, management technologies have been crucially changed and now continue to change their processes, their procedures, because to react, to be effective when you react to any types of hybrid attacks, you need to understand how your people are trained. And this is like you should be trained on the real cases, on the real database, data sets, and you should understand that it's changed very, very quickly. So, for example, some technologies which were used 2 years ago, now it's not that types of technologies which you can train your people, and it's a new reality, and we should used to live in it, and we as a Ukraine have now this experience to share. So also to address these challenges, we see in Ukraine process of developing highly adaptive innovation ecosystem, and it's organically development in real time and connect defense, users, startups, and speak about dual use topics, and we even develop in Kharkiv, for example, Deloitte for Kharkiv municipality developed a strategy, smart city strategy, and in the fundamentals of the strategy is it question of dual use technologies and the level of security. So it's the pillar of smart city strategy, not one like point as we used to live. Like we have smart city, so we have comfortable living for people and some nice things, and then we have one part not very nice, but we have this defense part as a part of smart city strategy. No, in Kharkiv we developed like the first strategy. We have this dual use and defense in each part of our smart city strategy, in energy, in education, in any sensors, in everything, because like, let's be honest, for example, if we speak about sensors, many sensors are not produced in Europe. You do not know really whether is some backdoors in some cameras. We know the quantity of such things in Europe, and we see now in Ukraine that it's like unfortunately sometimes it's not very friendly solutions for really for to build sustainable, for example, management for cities. So that's why we, for example, in smart city development, we also saw those attacks, and we also react, and we also try to share this experience to international community. So if we speak about end user perspective and urgent needs from field and voice of end users, so of course there are a lot of priority needs, and not to focus on financial issues, because sometimes programs which are developing for startups, we see the amount, for example, for deep tech, 50,000, 100,000. So companies who are acting in deep tech, they cannot really develop some outstanding solutions for. So it's more for very, very early stage than for real solutions. And we saw now a lot of investments which are going, for example, from East and from United States. They're trying to get those technologies, but in other way they invested in those startups, but the level of investment and the amount of investment, it's not like, for example, 100,000, but it starts from 500,000, because it's like it could be because the data it costs much, the technology costs, the test process, it's very expensive, and we deal with some like physical things, and unfortunately this test lab which we do have in Ukraine now, that costs nothing for us. Our enemy pay for this, but we should pay for some physical things to invent some solutions. So of course we, if we speak about like end user perspective, we speak about systems which could combine data from different, for multiple sensors, from drones, from intelligence sources, into clear operational information, and also like work with AI, with other tools to somehow put it in the basis of decision-making process. Also, we speak about other types of solutions without human factor, because as it was mentioned, in hybrid attacks, very, very often, and almost in all ways, it's used by somebody is their proxy, somebody is the like person who can be waiter for the attack. So that is why using the technologies, it could help, and it help in now in this direction, but it's because of the speed of changes, many types of solutions working today, but maybe it could be not a solution for in 3 months. So the third is the resilient communication system. So it should be, we have now Starlinks, and it helps a lot. And we very happy, for example, that for today Elon Musk decided to help and to help in this very crucial situation with the attack. But we do not have, as a Europe, for example, we do not have some really other solution which could be part of communication system, and we see that hybrid attacks, they always affect on the communication system. And for now we we have a generation which didn't use other types of communication than like communication via telecom providers or as internet. So that is why it's it's a part of it could be a part of attack, and we saw it because it could be in the basis, it could be disinformation and information for other sources, and that is why we do have a lot of different channels. For example, we used in Ukraine, we use Telegram a lot, but it's not a very good solution. But still, it's a part of adoption to the system where we have really problems with hybrid attacks in informational area. So also we have a lot of prototypes and a lot of solutions which could be used and could be developed, but also we speak about using AI for interceptors, using machine learning based target recognition, navigation systems that function without GPS, for example, and other things. And we do have them, and they make they are not very well. It's MVP, let's say like this. It's working, it's tested, but to scale up, of course, it should be some technology, and it should be not a brain drain technology. When we take a team, bring them, for example, to Munich, because they lost their connection to the real life environment, to the lab, and their solution will be scaled up, but without this innovation process, like real-time innovation, because the war didn't finish yet. And even when it would be a ceasefire, it's not the over. So it's very important thing that we should understand that it would be, and Izabela already mentioned it, that it's a new reality for the next 10 years. We need to understand how to live in this new reality when it will be a lot of hybrid attacks. And if I speak about European collaboration, so we as the cluster, we are working in the different European projects, so Digital Europe, mainly for now, mainly in a very civil way, but also we will participate this year in EDIH Information Days in Brussels in March. So we prepare our companies to pitch different types of readiness to cooperate, and it could be two scenarios, which I already mentioned. So one scenario, it would be a long-term partnership. It's not an easy thing to build it. So we before, if we speak about like building relationships, usually we speak about like business to business, or business to government, or business to academia, different types of relationships. Now we speak more about people to people, and building like long-term partnership, understanding that, okay, we are building a network. We should understand that in our partnership, in our consortium, in our group, we do have partner in Ukraine. We do, and this team should work in Ukraine. It should be, because it's an opportunity, not of course it's a risk. It's a definitely risk, but also it's an opportunity to develop some solution which could be used for to defend all Europe. And the other scenario could be a brain drain scenario. When we mapping teams, then we bring teams to other countries, but it's not a very wise scenario in way of sustainability. So it would be like an issue, because now this industry and hybrid attacks and defense, it's booming because of war, and the trust became a new currency. So many people want to like propose something to work, and it would be a real challenge to like to understand, is it partner who can really deliver something, or is it partner who want to deliver but do not have capabilities, expertise, track of records. So this is a question of this trust and this currency. That is why we try to build in Kharkiv IT cluster, we try to build a network, and we built a network with other clusters, and we do have alliance of technology clusters of Ukraine. We coordinated, so it's 19 IT and technology clusters. We also participate in Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, and we like map, thanks to it, associations and clusters who are really working in dual use or defense, or they want, but not yet, let's say like this. So for us, this mapping of key stakeholders is crucially important, and also we trying to bring community to different European projects. And also, for example, in Rebuild Ukraine last year, we made a special event, side event about dual use and using a corporate empowering cooperation between business of Ukraine and authorities of Ukraine and European ecosystem, because we do believe that the only one scenario when we in 10 years we will have really safe Europe for our children. It's the only one way when we are working as a partners, as a real partners, not using Ukraine as a beneficiary or some humanitarian country, using our experience. And we paid for this experience very high price. We want Europeans do not pay that high price for this experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Olga. So thank you, first of all, for reminding us how, today we really need to pursue a sort of, dual use by design, like also Panagiotis said, because I think that, when you mentioned the smart cities approach, you really show us that we need to integrate really from the design point of view, this dual use approach, not only in Ukraine, but everywhere in Europe. And the other thing that I really appreciate is also, when you mentioned the communication system, really to show us what does it mean today, technological sovereignty, technological autonomy, for instance, in communication systems today. This is very important, and this is where we should focus our innovation activities in Europe. So thank you very much. I see that there is a first question for Panagiotis. Panagiotis, have you read the question? It's about the difference TRL in research and development for civilian and dual use research and development.
Yeah, I have read it. It's an interesting question. I agree that when we are talking about dual use technologies by design are agnostic to the application. Therefore, how you are going to use the results of that is something that you need to decide at a higher TRL level. Traditionally in Europe, especially in defense, it was easy to collaborate up to the level of 4 or to 5. Then, as we are getting closer to product, it was difficult to have collaborations. Now, how this can be resolved? First of all, I will do also the distinction between dual use R&D and dual use technologies. because for me, this is not a question. It's a necessity to break the misconception. So let's imagine that you want to build a robotic platform for logistics to work on civil logistics, and then you want to build another platform, a robotics platform that will be on field to do medevac. There are two things, two different application scenarios, but the body of the robot can be the same. So designing a common element, that could be the body, the motor part, things that are pretty much common for both scenarios, have them as a one line of development, and then do the additional things that are needed for logistics in logistic centers or what you need for the defense. Maybe different speed, different accuracy, different command and control, but the platform, which can be the dual use part, can be the same. So this is one way that you can integrate R&D design between civil and not. Or the example of models, where we need in order to develop application, models, either frontiers or fundamental model. Why to build one dedicated for defense and one dedicated for health? The basics, how this is organized, how it is getting information in, how it does the processing of the information up to one level, it's the same. What you need is to have a sectorial model that will be extending the basic one. So in a dual use pipeline, the civil part will take care of creating the basic big model, and then you can have an acceleration pipeline for defense, for health, for automotive that will build on what is already ready and develop the sectorial part of that. This is the concept that we are trying to think and to work, and we are working with other colleagues for the next framework program to make sure that these acceleration pipelines are not starting always for all different domains on the same point, but they are having some transition gates from one domain or sector to the other and so on. So I'm pretty confident that we will have solutions to make sure, and I really believe that there are ways to do dual use and military R&D coming closer and closer, even above TRL4.
Thank you very much, Panagiotis, for your answer. Are there any other questions?
If I can jump in,
Yes,
maybe.
please.
I just sent a link to a publication by European Commission, DG Research and Innovation, which I contributed to. And basically this topic regarding how to approach dual use research and innovation is also addressed there. So please take a look, and I do believe that it is something which was now also mentioned very high on the European Commission agenda, and it needs to adapt to this dual use reality. And one remark, if I may, also to what was said by I'm sorry, Olga from IT Kyiv cluster. Let's imagine that one day, hopefully, the full-fledged war ends, and the same goes with hybrid warfare. If it ends, then my take is that we will still developing dual-use technologies, but with different vector of diffusion. So basically, we will be using those advancements, those upgrades of civil technologies for military use. So from military to civilian use. So for instance, let's imagine that we can use the swarm of drones for agriculture, for logistics, and so on. So building what was very rightly named this ecosystem, let's Olga mentioned this adaptive ecosystem, rapidly adaptive ecosystem, is not only for now defense and security needs, but we will also need that if we will try to keep our economy up and running and competitive during the next wave of technological revolution, which will be using these military advancements for civilian purposes. And it's also coming, I do believe that. So even if we hear that we should not use civilian technologies for military purposes in different circles, let's think another way around, that we will also need that dual-use ecosystem to use military upgrades for upgrading our economy in upcoming years and maybe even decades.
Thank you, Izabela. Yeah, I perfectly agree. I think it's a sort of bidirectional relationship, I mean, between dual use and civilian use. So this is perfectly, I mean, it fits perfectly with our seminar, with our webinar today. So if there aren't any other questions, first of all, I would like to thank Izabela, Olga, and Panagiotis for the time they dedicated to us and for the fantastic contribution they brought today. I'm sorry we went a little bit late, but I mean, your contribution were really interesting, and so I thought that it was worth going a little bit later. So thank you again. I think this is the first webinar of a long session that we will have, a long series that we will have. And I invite everybody, if they still haven't done it, to join our AI, data and robotics and defense topic group and to participate in these activities and also to contribute to the next webinar. So thank you again and have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.